Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
All right, mate. How you doing?
Doing good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you spot on, mate. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Cool. So, how have you been? How have you been doing with all this madness going on?
Chilling, really, mate. I've not been able to get up that much. Like I've been kind of obviously stuck in the house, and all the gyms are shut, so I've just been after trying to do my own thing. You know what I mean? But been mostly riding my bike and just chilling with the kids.
Yeah, I was going to ask how have you been able to stay active? Have you been able to hit pads at all or anything like that, or are you just doing cardio stuff mostly?
Just mostly cardio stuff. I've got no one to come and pad us. So I've just been doing my own thing by myself. Just riding the bike mostly. I like to run a bit as well, but mostly been the bike lately. Like,
how's the family been doing? Having to stay in the house all locked in and stuff.
Struggling. My daughter's a million mile an hour. She's crazy. Like, so she's been struggling with it a bit. But aside from that, we've been all right. Like, we've just been trying to keep them busy, but going out for little walks and stuff like that. We're only far from the beach, so it's been all right getting down there. But there's only so much you can do when you're down there every day. You know what I mean? So it is getting a bit of a nightmare.
A lot of people are trying to look at for some positives when you have to stay in the house all the time, and I don't know, you have time to self-reflect or spend time with family. Are you going to take out any positives from this kind of break, if you want to call it that, from fighting?
Definitely, you know. Obviously, MMA fights, especially the camps, have a massive toll on your body. I mean, when I first signed to Bellator, I had a massive injury then in my shoulder, and then I still fought, and then never fought for a while, so kind of left it a bit there, and then I was straight back into another camp when I was first meant to fight James, and then straight away again. So taking it as a blessing, just letting little injuries heal. You know, that's the main positive to take from it. And it gives you time, obviously time to have with your family and stuff like that. When you've got a fight coming up, you're in the gym morning and night, so it's hard to get that time. So it is a blessing and a curse at the same time.
How far along into camp were you at the time when the fight got called off?
Well, we always do minimum like 7 weeks, but I always like to be fit well before then if I can, and so I'm fit for the start of the camp. So I would say a couple of weeks. Obviously, and then we've been out the gym now for a good couple of weeks, you know. So like even before Bellator announced that the fight wasn't going to be happening, we kind of thought that it would get called anyway, you know. So we were just ticking along anyway, but I didn't expect it to happen, and obviously all the gyms had to shut, and there was still hopes of it happening. So I was still trying to do my own bits, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? It's just been a nightmare, really. I'd say it probably happened about. I was probably about 3 weeks in. I'd say something like that, 3 weeks in.
So at least you didn't have to go through like some fighters when they got called off. They were like after the weigh-ins on the day of the fights and stuff, so it wasn't too far along for you in that aspect.
It was a nightmare that I seen. I mean, obviously, like starting to cut weight, and then obviously actually doing the weight cut as well. Like obviously the weighed in and stuff, hadn't they? So it was fight. I think it was fight day. Mind that pause there, sorry. It was bad connection.
Back.
Yeah, obviously. What was I saying? Sorry, what was the? I've lost track of where I was.
Oh, about the weight cuts. The fighters have been after weight cut, and the fights got called off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Obviously, they'd cut weight and they were ready to go. You know, they've done the hardest part. The fights, the icing on the cake, and it's the weight cut in the camp. That's the nightmare. So obviously, it was way worse for them than what it was us. We were 6 weeks out. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah,
with hot, like most of the work hasn't even been done yet, so it was completely different circumstances.
How is your cut to bantamweight?
Usually, I'd say so. Like both times I was meant to fight James, it was perfect. My weight was great. When I fought Nathan Grayson in February, my weight cut was a nightmare. I went to Sweden. I trained in Sweden for a couple of weeks, and I came back and. My weight was on track when I left to go there, and when I come back, it was miles away from where I should have been. So I was like, I thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it was, and then I ended up cutting ridiculous amount of weight. Being terrible there for some reason.
Yeah, it looks like you're back again.
My Wi-Fi was seeing terrible, like a bad connection. When I fought Nathan Grayson, I ended up doing like, I was pretty much, I was like bang on, I was like 68.9 kilos the morning before the weigh-in, like the day before. And then obviously I weighed in 61.2 the Friday weigh-in.
Wow.
So I did over 7 kilos in the bath the night before. So I did a big cut for that one. But I felt amazing, you know. I had Dean Kirk, my nutritionist, on board. Did me rehydration, and although I cut that much weight, I felt amazing. Whereas when I fought Biko in South Africa, the weight, I don't know if it's me. I don't know why the signal's doing that. It's right out there. So when I fought Biko in South Africa, I didn't cut nowhere near as much weight as that, and I felt absolutely horrendous. And I didn't have anyone doing me rehydration. I was always just doing it myself. And when we got out there, we didn't have baths or sauna or anything like that, so I had to try and work the weight off, and then obviously doing my own rehydration as well. I just killed it, and I didn't do half the weight what I did when I fought Grayson, so that was kind of what made us get Dane Kirk on board to do me rehydration, and since then, my weight cuts have been perfect, easy.
It's all good. So before we get into the Gallagher fight a little bit, I just wanted to ask for some people that may not know you, because you're kind of starting to break onto this scene with Bellator recently. How did fighting start for you? What was kind of your beginning, and how did you get into when did you know that you want to fight for a living?
Well, I first started fighting when I was 12. I boxed. I started boxing from a young age. I boxed for Sunderland ABC when I was 12, all the way up till I was 18. I won a national title in 2006. Then when I was 18 is pretty much when I started grappling. I joined TFT. At the time, I was their first person who ever fought pro for TFT. I've just seen a comment pop up. Was that Shea Exton? What's that say? Definitely. 100%. But I started boxing from there, and then started grappling when I think it was 2010. And then from there, that was it. As soon as I started fighting in MMA, that's all I wanted to do. It was just the difference in sport. You know, I boxed for so long and been competing at a high level for that long. And then when I started grappling and getting killed off people who I was twice the size of, you know, I was like, well, just from being where I was to then not knowing anything at all was kind of refreshing. And it was just kind of made us just motivated to try and stick in that. And that kind of started there. Like, that's where it's been ever since. I've never done anything else since, you know what I mean?
And so then Bellator picked you up off a loss, and then you got your debut at home, which is like crazy, and you got your big win. And so how were those few months like for you when you lost your second professional fight, and then you go to Bellator, and then you get that big win? How was that like?
So it was me. This next fight's me 11th pro fight. So it was me 10th, I think, when I fought Grayson. But I was amazing. Like, obviously, I fought for the AFC belt. Obviously, I killed myself there. I had a horrible weight cut, and then basically just had a horrible performance against a good guy as well. Take nothing away from him. He was a really good guy and solid, sound bloke as well. And I just got dragged into a horrible, grindy fight there and did 25 minutes, went the distance, and then kind of deflated from there because it was my big opportunity, because I already had offers for big fights. If I won that one in different organizations, I was going to fight in Japan. So I was like, that's something that I'd always wanted to do as well. So it kind of broke my heart a bit there. And then obviously Bellator wanted to come to Newcastle, and they offered us a contract and basically offered us the Grayson fight. And obviously I already knew who Nathan was. I seen him fight before. I seen him fight Arnold Allen. I seen him fight when he fought Sam Creasy. So I already kind of knew who he was, and I knew it was definitely going to be a tough fight. So I couldn't say no, you know what I mean? It was a massive opportunity, and I knew if I could get a win, it was a massive step in the right direction, and we'll put a big exclamation mark on my debut for Bellator and show them that I was an asset to them, you know what I mean? Like, take the limelight a bit from that, and that's what I kind of felt like I did. And obviously I feel like if Nathan had beat me, it would have been the same. I had a big opportunity now, and obviously I won the fight, so that's kind of led me onto this fight with James.
What was that like, getting that big win in front of in your home, basically in your backyard?
Special. It was a special night. I'll never forget it. The whole thing was mad, to be honest. The whole thing was like a daydream, really. It was like I didn't really. It was like I didn't really experience it. You know what I mean? It was like just the whole thing's pretty much a blur. And then obviously just mad little things that I took away from the fight as well, like things I'll remember forever. Like when I was on Nathan's back and I had like a dreadlock. I had one of his dreads in my mouth, and I was trying to choke him. And I in my head at the time, I thought when I was trying to feed my hand through it to get the choke, I thought he had his fingers in the glove. So I was saying to the ref, I was saying, he's got his fingers in the gloves. He's got his fingers in the gloves, and just calm us out. Near them was like, no, I ain't. Just like little things that I I'll just take like bits like that away from it. You know what I mean? And I'll always remember that. Like, but it was a special night. Like.
And so, how did that Gallagher fight come about right after that? Because people may say that he hasn't fought nobody and stuff like that, but he is a pretty big name, especially on the UK European stage. So, how did that fight come about for you?
Well, I was asking for it for a while. I've been every opportunity I'll get on like social media. I would say like, look, I'll fight him. I'll fight him in Dublin. I'd like to fight him there. You know, I felt like I was the person who would go there and with that kind of crowd and beat him there. And so I kept asking for it, and I was messaging the matchmakers all the time, and basically just, well, one day I just got a message saying, I've got a fight for you. Do you want the Gallagher fight? And it's going to be in Dublin. And I was like, where do I sign? Send us the contract. I'll sign now. You know, it's a big fight, stylistically good fight for me. Like, why not? Let's do it. And then obviously all that stuff happened the first time, and then the second time, and then led on to this one, and then all this Corona stuff. Now it's just a nightmare, but it will happen eventually. So when it happens, it happens.
I was going to go on to that next. It's the third time now it's been called off. It's becoming a bit of a Tony against Khabib over in Bellator for you, hasn't it?
It has. It's a nightmare now. You know, it's one thing to have a fight with someone anyway. You know, and you do a camp the whole time. All you're thinking about is that person. You know, like watching their footage, studying their style, preparing for their style. Then obviously you have the fight and it's done, and then you kind of onto the next one. Whereas this one's been over like, the match stuff. I think it was in like July, so it's like not even far off being a year in the making now. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I just want to hurry up and get a fight and get it done.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does it feel to have that long of a layoff? You must be itching to get back in there now, surely.
Oh, it's killing us. Like, I'm somebody who tries to be active. You know, I want to fight as often as possible. I'm just going to walk out in the car and get my charger. Like I say, the phone will probably die. So, but as I say, it's an absolute nightmare for me. You know, obviously I want to fight. I'm at the level now where I just kind of want a good fight, like a good test, like James. Get that one out of the way and get some of the fights that I've always wanted to have. You know, I feel like this fight will propel me to getting the names I want. You know, like I don't want to. I want to have a record that basically shows that I've not swerved anyone. I want to fight the best of the best, and I want to do it in the next few years. Now, yeah, I'm 28 now. I want to have 4 years now at least of just fighting the best available fights on the biggest stage. So that's me aim. Just get this one out of the way, and hopefully all this Corona stuff gets resolved quick, and then can maybe have 2 more fights this year. That would be ideal because I haven't even fought this year now. You know what I mean? Like. So obviously James pulled out the February one, 2 weeks out, and then this one now. So there's pretty much half the year nearly gone. So hopefully he can get something sorted.
Has there been any communication with Bellator? Will that fight get scheduled again when everything clears up?
I think that's the kind of thing they're looking at. Yeah, I think they're going to basically try and rematch the same London card what they had. I don't know where it's going to be or when, but I think that's what they're looking to do. That was the notion I got anyway. So hopefully it does. You know, London will be awesome. Dublin, awesome as well. Whichever, I'm good.
No, there we go.
Isn't like
it's all right. It happens.
But so hopefully that's what they do it, and I'm not bothered where it is or whatever. You know, England would be cool. But I was saying this today actually, funnily enough. Although Dublin's another country, it's actually easier for people and cheaper to get them to Dublin to what it is to London. So for my kind of support, it kind of be better for Dublin. But I'm easy wherever it is. Even if it has to be somewhere without a crowd, I'd be cool with that as well. I just want to fight. And even if it turns out that it's not James, like I'm not really bothered. I'm not really fixated on fighting him. I just want to fight. So whoever it is, like James would be cool. Obviously, like there's that much invested in it now, and he wants to fight me as much as I want to fight him, and it will be cool to get that one kind of finished. But whoever it is, I just want to fight. So.
Yeah, so you guys have been in like 3 kind of fight camps build-ups together. How did the animosity build up between you? Because it seems like you know how to get under skin now at this point.
You know what was fine? Like obviously when all that stuff happened, he was actually kind of like amicable about the whole thing, and he was actually all right for a while. And then I don't know what it was. He just changed and started being a helmet for some reason, and then. Or whatever, you know, you can say whatever you want. And then it was just the more and more we had to kind of see each other, the more built up. And then obviously he said all that stuff about me when I was told I couldn't fight and then got pulled off the card. But then he can see all that stuff about me and try to discredit everything I've done and then see things about my, like the person I am and stuff like that. And then pulls out for having a bad back. And then it's like, wait, how can you give somebody, see all that stuff about someone and then pull out 2 weeks out and say you've had a bad back? It's like, go away, man. And then obviously I just brought that to light. I just said like the way it is, you know what I mean? I just said like, basically said that and then said, you pulled out for a bad back. I've had a bad back since I was 12-year-old, you know what I mean? Who hasn't got a bad back, so, you know what I mean? But, and he didn't like it, and then that's where that all stemmed from pretty much. And then obviously then he's running over behind when I'm not looking and trying to say whatever and do whatever, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Hopefully I do get to punch him, you know what I mean? That'll be the way to solve it.
What was that big press conference that Bellator had a couple of weeks ago that you ever all the big fires were at? What was that kind of experience like for you and getting to face off with them there?
It was good. It was really good. Obviously it was cool. I got to see Fedor and stuff like that and speak to a couple of them, you know what I mean? It was awesome. Musasi, Lima, they were all cool, you know what I mean? So it was nice one, Mikhaev, legend. But it's cool. It was a special occasion, you know what I mean? It was like something that I've thought would happen for a long time. I've kind of always thought that regardless who I fought, I will get to these stages. And James obviously saying what he's saying that this will be the only time I'm main event and stuff like that. I don't believe that. I feel like whether I fight him or not, I feel like Bellator realising that I'm marketable now as well, and that's why the pushing is. And I feel like this will be the first of many. Smash him and then leads on all the fights that James knocks back. I'll be the one who takes them. You know what I mean? Like the bigger names in the division now. I know for a fact he's already declined. I would happily fight any of them. So we'll nice one, nice. The comments to say. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, so I was going to touch on that a little bit next. It was kind of your first time and at that big of a stage and with all that media attention and stuff like that. So a win here would really kind of do a lot for you and push you in. So how was all that? How have you been able to handle all of this?
Just to say, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's just.
Does it feel like it's coming at the right time for you in your career?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like I feel like this is somewhere that I've always thought I would be, as I see, and that's it. I just, you know what? It's just like just try and enjoy it because things like this can, you know what I mean. It just passes fast. It doesn't matter whether you're like James and you've been in the limelight for a long time or not. You know what I mean. You've only got so like a small window of opportunity to get this kind of experiences and stuff like that. So. It's just trying to take it all in, soak it all up. So I'm just trying to enjoy it. And obviously, as you've seen, you know, I nearly had it all taken away from us when they were telling us that they thought I wasn't going to be able to fight again and stuff like that. So now it was just kind of a little kick up the arse that I needed, you know, and really showed us like how much I actually do want to have this life as a pro MMA fighter. And then, so now it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to fight as many as the toughest fights as I can and just enjoy the whole ride and just whichever way all these fights happen in the future, just enjoy it all and just push as much as I can and make as much of a legacy for myself as I can in this small time frame that we've got. And that's why I kind of just I'm not really letting any of it like overcome us. Like obviously that press conference and stuff like that, like a lot of people might have been taken back by it, but you know what, when I got up there I felt chilled, you know what I mean? It's once you've done one, you've done a million, you know, and it's all the same really. It doesn't really matter. So, and it's good. And you know what? It's when you're up there, it's fun. So, it's cool.
Yeah, you mentioned that now that once you've done one, it feels like, yeah, you've done a lot. Does that make you feel a little more comfortable and more prepared for that kind of a spotlight when you're gonna headline the next one, when and if it gets rescheduled?
Definitely, 100%. As I say as well, like it's in regards to feeling like that in a fight, I feel like that's just another thing that comes with experience as well. Like this is me 40. Sorry, maybe connection's gone again there. This is my 41st fight now. You know what I mean? I feel like it's only now that I'm kind of really getting to kind of be at home in there and actually feel me surroundings and stuff. So that just helps with it as well. Like I feel like now, like when I fought Grayson, like obviously watching that from an outsider's perspective, looking in on it, it looks like, you know what, like he's getting hammered there, he's taking some bad shots and stuff like that. But in the fight, I remember thinking like, this is what I do in the gym. Like this is just the kind of mind space that I was in. I just thought like, this is the fight we're prepared for, the fight I was expecting, and this is what it's going to be like. And then the next couple of like I thought basically what I thought was it was going to be 3 rounds of that kind of fight, like a dog fight the whole way, and then I'd win at the end of the fight. It just so happened that I ended up in a transition and won in the first round, but I prepared for 3 rounds of hell like that, you know. So that's kind of just comes with experience, and that's why now I feel like I'm ready for the big fights in the really really big tests in the big exposure. That's what I feel like. I'm at the stage now where I feel like I'm ready for them kind of fights. You know, a few years back I might have not been ready for that, and it might have kind of got the better of us. Whereas now I feel like mentally and physically I'll be the best I've ever been, and especially mentally I feel like now I'm bulletproof. And as I say, like it'll show in the fights that I take. If I do get the win over James, you'll see the level of opponents that get lined up after this, and I'll accept them all. So
Yeah, so kind of to wrap it up, what is your ultimate goal? What is like at the end of the road that you think for you that you would like to accomplish in your career?
I'd love another chance to fight for a belt. You know, fighting 5 minute rounds is definitely suited for my style. Obviously, when I fought for me the belt when I fought in South Africa, there was a load of outside factors like they killed myself to make weight there. Like it was stupid, and I didn't even have much to cut. It just absolutely ruined us. Like I got told I had to come out on weight, and so obviously it's impossible. I'm 6 foot and I fight at bantamweight, so there's no way I can come out on weight. You know what I mean? I have to bath or I have to sauna, and so it just killed us. And then obviously the rehydration was a nightmare. I basically shot myself after the weigh-in pretty much. Like, and then obviously like just doing my own methods. You know what I mean? Just piling all the wrong stuff into myself, and then fought and just had the most grueling, horrible wrestling, grappling exchange ever, just with somebody so much shorter than us instantly on my hips as well. And it was just it was a good learning curve. So I'd love to get the chance to kind of right that wrong, you know, and do a world title fight 5-5s, but do it the way I normally fight and have the kind of tenacity and the kind of fitness and pace that I've normally got, you know, so that I felt like I did myself a bit of a disservice there, and I'd love the chance to right that wrong and get it back. So a goal for me would definitely be fighting for the Bellator Bantamweight belt, you know. And I feel like if I beat James, I've kind of already been told, they said like, look, if you beat James, we'll give you could be one more win away from fighting for it. So see if I beat James and they give us the top 3 guy next, and I win that, then there's no denying how to fight for it. So it's definitely within touching distance. So I'm just going to stay dedicated and knuckle down, and hopefully get the chance to fight for it, because that's definitely one of my goals. And if not, just fight the best available people throughout the rest of my career and have a long career with Bellator. I've got no ambitions of going anywhere else. Fighting for Bellator is somewhere where I kind of always wanted to end up anyway. You know, my coach fought there. He signed to them again now, but originally when there wasn't many UK guys fighting in Bellator at all, Andrew Fisher, my coach, he got signed and he was fighting in America, and I saw that and I thought, like, you know what, that's like crazy. I thought it was mental, and that was kind of one of my aspirations, was what I wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps a bit and do that. And then obviously I'm there now and getting the opportunities now. So I'd just be happy to have the rest of my career with Bellator and just fight the best people and be in crazy fights for the rest of my MMA career. That's probably more of a goal than what it will be than fighting for the belt.
That sounds good. And so I just wanted to ask, just before we leave, if you have an opinion on, have you been seeing what's been going on with the UFC, and that Dana White said he's going to announce a whole new fight card today and a venue for next week? What do you have an opinion on that? What's been going on? How they've been handling this?
It's just a nightmare situation, isn't it? I feel like it's I feel like it's a bit unfair on Tony. You know, I feel like he was set to fight Khabib, and I feel like that's the fight he deserves. He deserves to fight for the belt. He's already had an interim belt, so it's kind of, look what happened when he had that. It was completely irrelevant when he had it. You know, they stripped him of it straight away as well. So it was like, I couldn't imagine him fighting for another one. And then if they're talking about him fighting Gaethje next, that's a. I mean, I definitely think Tony can win, but it's like it's a massively big ask for him. Massive big ask for him to go there and fight him, and then have to obviously get back on track and then fight for the belt again if he does win. So it's a mad situation. It's mad that they're still putting it on. You know, everything else is cancelled. The Olympics is even being moved forward a year. That was the kind of the big one. You know what I mean? So I'm really surprised that they're still pushing to put the card on, in all honesty. So it's pretty crazy. But I am looking forward to see what card does get announced.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all progresses when it finishes and how all the organizations handle it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen, man, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time. And we're looking forward to seeing you back in there and try chase that title shot.
100% appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
See you later, mate. Thank you. Bye, mate. Bye.